Hello, so I put a data set on Blackboard and it's titled Practice Data Set. Okay, so when you open it, this is what you're going to see. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go off. Let's pull this in here. We worked on this today in class. Okay, so I'm going to try to use some of these commands. What I'll do is I'll bring this back and forth, in and out of the screen, so that you can see it. But step one says to copy the source file from Blackboard and create a new Excel file. So let me let's just do that. All right, so I can show you a little bit how to do that. All right, so if I want to create a new file, I just come up here and I select File. And I just go to New. All right, and I just want a blank workbook. So I click on this, and now it gives me, there it is, Book 3. There's the foreign markets up there. So let's say I want to copy everything. So I come here to this, I go to the corner here, and I do Control C, okay, or I just cut it, and then I'm going to put it into this one right here. I might Control V and I paste it, and so there it is. Okay, and I've got this. I'm going to save it as a different name. I'm going to call it I'll call it foreign markets 3. Okay, let's just do that. And so it saves it, and there it changes it up there for us. Okay, one of the things that you're going to have to do in this class is to be able to create a new tab as well. So we've done 1 and 2. We copied the data source, named the data file, right? I didn't name it this, but I named it something. Next, we want to be able to create a new Excel tab. Okay, so in order to create a new tab, I come down here for this little plus right here. I click on that, and that opens up. That opens up a new sheet. Okay, and I can start doing whatever in that new sheet. Let's say I want to just have my exports over there. All right, I don't want the imports. So once again, I would copy this. I would paste this. And then I'm just going to get rid of this column. So I click on it, right? I hit the right arrow, the right mouse click, and I can delete my entire column, right? So this is just going to be export. So I'll even rename this. So I come over here under the tab. I'm going to rename the tab, and I'm just going to call this exports. Okay. I'm going to add one more. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it. Whoops. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it. And this time I want to delete the exports. So now we're just left with the imports. I come down here, right click. I'm going to rename this imports. Okay. So that's how I'm able to create new data sets and everything. So let's do this. I'll do the same. Let's do Control C. Here's this sheet. Once again, Control V. I got all the data there again. And this one I'm going to call this we'll call this full data. Okay. Full data. Boom, there we go. So now I've got 3 new tabs. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to delete this one. I don't like this one. I don't like what it's named. For some reason or other, I don't like it. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete that. And yes, I want to continue. And so now I'm left with my export, my imports, and my full data set. Okay. So we've gotten through 1, 2, 3. We've copied data sets. We've deleted columns. Okay. I can also create a new column. All right, jumping back into this, we could also create a column. I could do a column like on balance of trade, right? Our exports minus our imports, our exports minus our imports. Okay. So what I'm going to do with that is let's just call that balance of trade. Okay, and you'll notice that my column width sort of runs into F. Okay. You'll also notice that this cell, balance of trade, looks different than this cell. All right. If you look up here, you see it's centered, right, and it's middle aligned in the cell, and that it's got wrapped text. Okay. So what I can do is I can click on this cell, go over here to Format Painter, and I want this cell here to look like this cell. So I'm going to click on this. And so what it should do is it should center things and also wrap the text. And there it goes. And it bolded it too. Okay. So that's how the Format Painter button works. I could also, when I click on the column width, let's see if I'm going to highlight all of these and see if it's the similar column width. So I come here. So this one's got a column width of 19.86. If I hold my mouse between B and C, it shows that there's a column width of 27, column width of 18.14, and a column width of 18.43. So let's just get them all to 18.43. So I'm going to click on it and just drag it over a little bit. And then let's do the same thing over here. I want 18.43. Oh, it's not going to give me an 18.43. Is it? There we go. All right, good. All right, so there's my balance of trade. To do my balance of trade, I'm going to do this cell, C2, minus D2, right? So it's our exports minus our imports. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm going to do a formula here. So it's going to be equals, and then I'm going to do C2 minus D2. Okay, that's it. That's the extent of my formula. I'm going to hit enter and it comes up like that. Now, if I want, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Now, if I want to copy this, as I come here to the lower right-hand side of this cell, I'm going to click on it and drag it. And when I do that, it gives me some different numbers. Right? But you'll notice here, this is no longer C2 minus D2, it's C3 minus D3. So when I copy formulas in Excel and I go down, it adds a number to this. So this right here should be C4 minus D4. And sure enough it is, and so on, C5 minus D5. Okay? If I want Excel to add a number on them, I leave it alone. All right. If I want it to be the same number, I'm going to have to use the $ trick. Okay. So let's go down here to the bottom. Well, you know what? Let's do this first. Let's do some freezing of cells. I like the countries. I like the regions. I like the labels up here, so I want to freeze the cells right here. So I'm going to come over here to View, and I'm going to freeze the panes. I want this one, freeze panes, and you'll see now I'm going to have row 1, and A and B are always going to be in my picture. Right? There's row 1, and no matter how far I go to the right, I'm always going to see country and region. Okay, so it's frozen. It's frozen right here. This is our point where it's frozen. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and I'm going to do the sum. Okay, I'm also going to do average. And I'm going to do, what else should I do? Let's do count. Okay. I'm going to do count over here. It just looks a little, it's going to look a little weird over here, but I want to know how many countries are we talking about? So when I hit equals, I'm going to start typing in count. And there's a lot of different functions for count, right? This is the one we want. We want count. It just counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Count A counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Okay. Count blank counts the number of cells in a specified range of cells. Count if counts the number of cells within a range that meet a given condition. Okay. I want contains the number of cells in the range. I want just how many cells have something in it. So this one, I want the count A. Counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So that's the one that I want. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go all the way up here. And hit enter. And so there are 40 countries, right? Yeah, it makes sense. We start on 2, go all the way down to 40, 41. There we go. For exports, I'm going to do sum. So I'm going to say equals sum, right? And I want to double click on it. If I just hit enter, it's going to give me an error. I didn't finish anything, right? So I'm going to say equals sum, parentheses, and it was, I think it was C2 colon C41. Okay. I hit enter. And that's the total up there. And then I want to do equals average. And equals average, same thing. It's going to be C2 through C41. The other thing that I can do is I can click on this cell, drag it, and just go highlight the cells that I want. If you're not talking about a big data set, then it doesn't matter, right? But if you've got a big gigantic data set, I don't know that you want to waste that kind of time scrolling up and scrolling down and all that nonsense. Okay? So I don't like the number of decimal places here. Let's round that to 1 decimal place. Right? The rule of thumb that we like to use is we go 1 more decimal place than what we're working with, right? We're working with whole numbers, so I'm comfortable going to 1 decimal place beyond the whole numbers. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to right click, format cells. Okay. And if I go under number, I can go to number, and then there it is, the number of decimals. I want to change it to 1 decimal. There we go. It's now at 1 decimal. There's also a shortcut in the menu bar. If I go over here to home, right here, you'll see this increases the decimals, this decreases the decimals. Okay, so I can click on these. See that? So I don't even need to go into that window. But I want to round to 1 decimal, so there we are again. Okay? Now, over here, we can do the same thing, but I'm going to show you a different way to do it. This is using the auto sum feature. So I'm going to click on this, the down arrow, and it shows me what the most common things are over here. So I want sum. So I'm going to click on sum, and look what it does. It writes in the formula here, and it predicts the range that I want to use. And that's it, actually. D2 through D41. Boom. There we go. All right, same thing here. I saw average up here. I'm going to go to average, D2 to D42. Well, that's not what I want, right? What did it do? It added the D42 here into this formula. I don't want that. So I can do one of 2 things. I can go in and I can change the 42 to a 41, or I can just go in and highlight it again. And scroll down, I can eyeball it again. There it is. Everything works. Hit enter. There's our average. Okay. Let's do this. I I like how this looks. So I'm going to add some borders to this too. Right, this stuff's too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff right here. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to find my borders. Right here is my borders. I'm going to click on this, and I can decide what I want it to look like. I like this thick outside borders. It really sets it apart, right? So I'm going to do this, and you'll notice now that we have these thick outside borders. Okay, I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing here. And now it's already listed as thick outside borders, so if I just hit that, it changes it automatically. Look, there we are. Okay. I could also change the font, right? I could highlight everything. I can just highlight a couple of these, and I can change the font to be anything that I want it to be, right? Let's go with blue. Look at that. We got a cool blue font right now. Okay. I'm going to back up so we don't have to do that. Now, what I want to do now is I want to show you guys conditional formatting. See if you guys like this. So conditional formatting, I click on this, and I want to do cells. Highlight cell rules if it's less than a certain number. If it's less than 0, I want it to be, let's make it red, right? Because if it's less than 0, that's bad, right? So, okay, hit OK, and that turned it red. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to Format Painter, and I'm going to do all this. And what should happen, let's see if it worked. Oh, it did everything. Dang it. Oh, no, it didn't. All right, so all the numbers less than 0 end up being, are in red. Okay, there's a 0, right? Black, black, red, 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 red. Okay. Cost to export per container, cost to import. That's the balance of trade. All right, so there we are. So we're happy with that. Let's pull this back up and see some of the stuff that we've done. We copied, we created a new column, copied the amount. We formatted things, right? We can change these to $signs. Let's do that real quick. I can change this. I go here to format cells. I want it to be currency. I like US dollars. There's no decimals. Hit OK. And look, it puts the $sign there. Okay. Format Painter. I can highlight all these and look, that does the same thing. Okay. So we can do that with currency. Let's see what else we got here. Showed you some formulas, how to create formulas, Format Painter, freeze, we showed that, borders, we showed that. Okay, let's do some alignment stuff, right? So I can come in here to these, I can do this, I can highlight these two columns, and I can say, look, I want this to be centered. So now everything's centered. I can left justify it. I can right justify it. Okay. I can also select rows and left justify everything, center it, right justify everything, right? So a lot of cool things that you can do with this. Okay. Let's do this. Let's sort our data. Okay, so we're going to go over here. I'm going to highlight everything. Okay. And I'm going to go here to data. I'm going to go to sort. What should we sort by? Let's sort by region. And we'll do it in alphabetical order. Okay, and I'm going to add a level just to show off a little bit, and the second one's going to be country. Now in country, I want it to go from Z to A. I want because I think it's already sorted a different way. But so the region's going to be sorted alphabetically, A to Z. Country is going to be sorted from Z to A. Okay, let's look and see what happens. So alphabetically, East Asia and Pacific. And then Europe, Caribbean, Latin America, Middle East. Okay, so you see what we're working with. Within these, there's Ukraine, Turkey, Russian Federation, Romania, Montenegro, Macedonia, Lithuania, right? So it's going in reverse alphabetical order here. All right. Let's get back over here, see what else we got. Freeze the borders, decrease cells, calculate some average, right? Calculate the difference. We did that. Verify the sum. All right, so that was confusing to people, the status bar. So watch what I do with this. If we look at the bottom, I might have to pull this up here a little bit. If we look at the bottom of our screen, whatever row, if I highlight this whole entire row, it shows me down here, it shows me the average, the count, the numerical count, the minimum, the sum. Okay? And if I right click on this, it'll show me. So right now there's no minimum. Let's click the maximum. I want to add max to it. There's the max. Okay? But it shows me all those different things that are in the, so I'm double checking that. Okay? Let's see here. Wrap text. We didn't do that one. So let's just ignore this for a second. I'm going to unwrap the text for right now. Okay. So now I've done this, and I noticed that some of these things, make that smaller too. So some of these items we can't quite make everything out. Okay. So if I highlight this row and I click wrap text, it wraps everything here. I could also auto format it, and it does that as well. Okay. Okay, so we showed you count, average, sum, sort, did that. Calculate the percentage. We can still do that, but let me show you one more thing. Okay, let's say that I want to compare everything to. What we got here? I want to compare everything to Peru. Okay, so I want to see the differences between Indonesia and Peru, Hong Kong and Peru. Okay, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to make a new column, I'm going to call it export comparison Peru. Alright, because I'm not very creative. I'll make my column wider. In export comparison Peru. So this is going to my formula here. I'm going to come up here and type it up here this time, just to show you that you can use different things. I'm going to do equals C2, and then where's Peru? There's Peru. So now I can also, if I double click on Peru, but I'm going to look real quick. It's C23. If I double click on Peru, it didn't do it. Oh, it did do it. No, it didn't do it. What did I say it was? Where's Peru? C23. Okay. So I want my formula to be C2 minus C23. Okay? And that's going to give me the 610 minus the 890. Okay? And life will be good. See, there it is, minus 280. I'm happy. Okay? But I can't copy that cell. Okay? Because when I go to copy it, it's going to do like it did over here. it's going to add a number to each one of these. The next time I copy this, it's going to be C2 minus C24. I'm sorry, it's going to be C3, which is Thailand, which is what I want, minus C24, which is Mexico, which I don't want. Okay? So I want the Peru number to stay the same. If I'm going to freeze a cell, I need to do $C, $23. Okay, so I want the C and the 23 to remain the same. All right. I hit enter. Notice nothing changes in this part. It's only going to change when I do this. So I click and I grab it. And I come down here a little bit like this. Let's get to right about here. So, what is this? C23 minus $C, $23 should be 0. It is. Okay, this one is C24, Mexico, minus $C, $23, and you'll see that it's right here like this. Okay, I want to finish this up. And there we go. Okay, that is a way to freeze and hold cells that you want to use in your formula. Okay, I am going to make sure, I'm going to look over our list one more time. Make sure you can do everything. Try, copy, wrap text, bold. Oh, we didn't do bold and italicized. I can show you that. That's easy. Calculate the difference. We did that. Count, sum, sort. Calculate the percentage. All right, so I think we got everything. But again, just like in Word, the font stuff, I'm going to highlight those three things. I don't like that, so I'm going to change it to, I'm going to change it and make it big, right? So I can do that. I can change that stuff. I can make it not bold. I can make it bold. Does it do anything? I can italicize it. I can underline it. All right, there's a whole bunch of things I can do. I can make the background yellow. Okay, so those are just some of the things that we can do. And of course, if I did all that and I don't like it, go back. And we're back to our original. Okay. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully there wasn't too much rambling. I think you'll be good for the quiz on Thursday. All right. If you had over 27.5 minutes, you are the winner.